Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for making it to the presentation today. We have Dr. Yusen Zhai joining us today. He is an assistant professor of counseling and the director of the University at Birmingham, University of Alabama at Birmingham's Community Counseling Clinic. Prior to that, he served as the lead clinic supervisor in the Edwin Herr Clinic. He completed his PhD in counselor education and supervision at the Pennsylvania State University. We're very excited to have him here joining us and talking to us about how we can better nurture and support international students. So Dr. Zhai, thank you so much for joining us again. And I will go ahead and give you the floor. What I will say for our participants, if you want to go ahead and say hello in the chat, let us know where you're joining us from. That is more than welcome. Dr. Zhai.
Well, hello, everyone. I think Dr. Prescott has said everything about me. So I think one only thing I can think of is just, my research centers on like health disparities and the counseling outcomes and social justice issues. And I want to say thank you all for joining us today for this presentation. And I also want to thank Dr. Prescott for inviting me. I'm honored to be part of this higher ed contingency Zoom chat and share what I research about this population, and that is undergraduate international students. So please allow me to share the slides here, and there we go. Yep. I think you should all be able to see that. So in this presentation, when I talk about international students, I mean undergraduate international students, unless I try to make a comparison with graduate international students. As our world becomes increasingly interconnected, the presence of undergraduate international students in American university has grown steadily. This student contributes significantly to U.S. economy and bring valuable perspective, experiences, and talents to our campuses, enriching the educational experience for all. However, undergraduate international students face unique challenges as they navigate the complexities of studying abroad, such as cultural adjustment, academic pressures, and navigating the U.S. job market and immigration status. It is crucial for higher education institutions to recognize and address these challenges to ensure success of their international student population. Well, in today's presentation, I will explore various holistic strategies that can help support international students' academic, career, social, financial, and mental health needs. Okay. We will discuss the importance of creating a campus climate that values diversity and inclusion. Mute. Oh, okay. Am I back?
You're back. Sorry about that.
It's okay. So we will discuss, well, I think by the end of the presentation, my goal is to provide a comprehensive picture of the challenges faced by this population and the holistic strategy that can be used to support their success. I hope to encourage you to take action, helping to make a positive impact on the lives of undergraduate international students at your respective institution. Once again, thank you for being here. Let's begin our exploration of these vital strategies for nurturing the success of undergraduate international students in U.S. higher education. Before we dive into the detail of this presentation, please allow me to share a brief overview of the structure and the main topic I would be discussing today. So first, background. I will begin by providing a general overall of the international student population in U.S. higher education, highlighting the unique challenges they face and the reasons they choose to study in the United States. Second, importance. I will discuss the significance of addressing the needs of this population and the value they bring to our institution and the society as a whole. Third, in this section, I will explore two key theoretical frameworks and how they can apply and guide me to form those strategies that can support the success of international students. And fourth is the holistic strategies. This is the core of this presentation, where I will delve into specific holistic strategies that can be implemented by career counselors, educators, counseling centers to support the academic, social, cultural, financial, and mental health needs of international students. Well, and lastly, I will conclude our presentation by summarizing those key takeaways. This presentation is about like 45 minutes, and I will leave 45 minutes for questions and discussions. And now let's begin by discussing the background of international students in U.S. higher education. Well, when working with undergraduate international students, we may ask ourselves that, well, who are undergraduate international students at U.S. higher education institution? I think you all have a well answer to it. I think briefly, by and large, international students are individuals who travel to countries different from their own for the purpose for pursuing higher education. These students typically hold a temporary visa, such as in the US, that would be F1 and J1 visa. They're not permanent residents or citizens of the host country. They are enrolled in undergraduate program, and they can be degree or non-degree seeking students. That will include international exchange students. Many students come from Asia, Middle East, Latin America, and some come from Europe, Australia, and Canada. Now we know the definition of undergraduate international students. We then ask another question: why predominantly international students pursue higher education here in the United States, but not many other countries on the earth? Well, many undergraduate international students choose to pursue higher education in the United States for several reasons. First, reputation for quality education. The United States has numerous top-ranked universities and colleges that are renowned for their academic excellence, rigorous curriculum, and cutting-edge research facilities. A degree from a U.S. institution is often considered prestigious and valuable in the global job market. Second, diverse educational opportunities. The U.S. higher education system offers a wide range of programs, majors, and degrees, and they provide students with the flexibility to explore various fields of study and tailor their education to align with their interests and career goals. Third, cultural experience. Studying in the United States allows international students to immerse themselves in American culture, gain a deeper understanding of different perspectives, and develop cross-cultural communication skills. This cultural exposure can be enriching and contribute to globalization and their own personal growth. Fourth, professional and career development. I believe this is an outstanding reason, so I want to highlight it. As you know, U.S. universities and colleges often provide extensive resources and support for career development, including internship, co-op programs, and job searching services and support. Particularly in STEM field, students will have better opportunity to get a good job that offers very compelling compensation, competitive benefits, and a regularly better work-life balance. This opportunity helps international students not just gain practical work experience, build professional networks, and enhance their knowledge and skills, but also provide them with opportunity to achieve their life goals. Fifth, well, we got to mention this: English language proficiency. As English is the primary language of instruction in the United States, many international students have already begun to learn English in their elementary education. which better prepare them to study and live abroad, live in the United States, as English-speaking countries, as opposed to others. Lastly, global alumni network. Graduating from U.S. higher education institution often means joining a global network of alumni who can provide valuable connections, mentorship, support in both personal and professional endeavors. Okay, with these reasons that many international students and their family prefer U.S. higher education in mind, we may start to ponder, well, so what? Why are they important to us, to US? Why we should need to care? I intentionally just leave US right there, but because I think it's important to the United States, higher educations, and us as professionals. Well, I want to say that they are important to us and the United States for various reasons. First, economic contribution. International students contribute significantly to the US economy by paying tuition and fees, as well as living expenses. This financial influx supports not only the higher education institution, but also local communities and business. Undergraduate international students are a huge force of consumers, as their primary funding sources are often from their families or home organizations. One reason is that they are very less likely to receive scholarship and assistantship compared with graduate international students. Let's now take a closer look at this analysis of 10-year trend in economic benefits of international students in the US. The gray trend line presents international student enrollment. The blue trend line refers to the jobs created by international student enrollment in a single year. The original bars refers to the total economic return in that given year. As you can see, the jobs and economic benefit created by international student increase in parallel with international student enrollment. So I think the data tell its own story. When the pandemic began in 2020, there was a reduction in international student enrollment and a decline in associated jobs and economic returns emerged spontaneously. Now, there is a small increase in 2021, which I believe seems promising. Despite the decline in 2021, 39 billion economic benefit and over 335,000 jobs were generated by international students studying in the US. One other reason pertinent to institutions and programs is that international students pay out-of-state tuition. A considerable number of higher education institutions as public university have the onus to serve in-state students, and therefore the massive majority of the student body are from in-state, with only a fraction of out-state students. Now, with this in mind, from a business standpoint, one international student pay almost or more than 3 times as in-state students pay for the tuition. As the result, institutions gain more tuition, which can be allocated to fund a variety of infrastructure and facilities, likely including, student counseling centers, student career centers, and all other student affairs organizations. And for specific college and programs, there has been an increase of RCM models, which is the budgeting model under which revenue generating units are wholly responsible for managing their own revenue and expenditures. In short, the college unit get and will spend what they earn. The more tuition college and program get, the more budget they have and can be used to cover expenses such as faculty salary, staff salary, research, and so forth. What else? And here are additional reasons. First, cultural diversity. International students enrich the cultural landscape of college campus and local communities by bringing diverse perspectives, customs, and values. This diversity fosters cross-cultural understanding among domestic students and the broader community. Second, academic benefits. International students contribute to the academic environment by sharing their unique perspective and experiences. This would enrich classroom discussion, promotes critical thinking, and enhance the learning experience for all students. Third, global reputation. The presence of international students in U.S. higher education institutions helps maintain and enhance the global reputation of these institutions, attracting even more top talent from around the world and bolstering the country's standing as leaders in education and research. International relations. International students serve as cultural ambassadors and help building connections between the United States and other countries. These relationships can lead to increased collaboration in areas such as trade, research, cultural exchange. Lastly, talent pool. International students represent a valuable pool of skilled talent. Some of the students choose to stay in the United States after completing their education. They can contribute their skills and expertise to the U.S. workforce, particularly in high-demand fields such as science, technology, engineering, mathematics, STEM. We have gone through the importance of undergraduate international students. I want to show you some facts of international student and enrollment. Similar to the figure I showed you already, the enrollment of the students' body steadily increased until 2020. You know what happened then? I think it's the pandemic factors. So however, in 2021, 2022, the total number of international students at U.S. higher education increased by 3.8% to around 948,000 students. It is anticipated that the growth of all international students would continue. Here is a map. As you can see, most international students come from like Asia and Middle East and Latin America, and many from Canada. Now in this figure, interestingly, unlike graduate international students, that is the right line. So the enrollment of undergraduate international students, that is the dark blue trend line, did not really bounce back to pre-pandemic level. It is likely that many students and their families are reconsidering barriers and the economic returns for sending them to study in the US. As the largest international student body among all, it is vital for us to stay aware of those major barriers that prevent undergraduate students from coming to the US and success here. I'm going to share some common challenges faced by international students on the following slides. So international students in the US face various challenges while pursuing their higher education. That likely include, first, language barriers. Communication and comprehension can be difficult for undergraduate international students, particularly for those whose first language is not English. This may affect their academic performance, social interactions, and overall adjustment to the new environment. Second, cultural differences. Adjusting to the values, norms, and expectation of a new culture can be very challenging for international students. They may experience culture shock, homesickness, or difficulties in understanding and adapting to the social customs and the practice in the United States. Third, financial constraints. The cost of tuition, living expenses, and other education-related expenses can be significant for international students. Many of them have limited access to financial aid for scholarship and may struggle to manage their finances while studying abroad. Fourth, academic expectations. The academic demands in the US higher education can be rigorous, and international students may encounter unfamiliar teaching styles, assessment methods, classroom dynamics. Adjusting these differences may take time and effort. Fifth, the social isolation. Building social connections and forming friendships can be challenging for international students, especially if they feel isolated due to language or cultural barriers. This can lead to feelings of loneliness, depression, or anxiety. These factors are likely to lead to stress and mental health problems. Coming next. There are also concerns around career development. International students may face challenges in securing internships, job placement, or work opportunity in the United States due to visa restriction, limited networking opportunity, or a lack of understanding of the US job market. Second, navigating immigration regulations. International students must comply with complex immigration regulation, which is very stressful and time-consuming. They must maintain their visa status, obtain work authorization for internship, on-campus jobs, and follow rules regarding travel, enrollment, and other requirements. Third is the vitriolic sociopolitical climate. Most international students are from Asia, Latin America, and the Middle East. Meanwhile, media outlets have used derogatory language, perpetuating stereotypes and prejudice about these international students, inciting racial hatred and fueling social-political radicalization. Such a hate speech and deteriorated intergroup relation can lead to acts of reprehensible verbal, physical, and lethal violence that victimize international students. As a result, the vitriolic social-political climate can penetrate the classroom and place international students at higher risk for microaggression, racism, and discrimination from peers and educators. Lastly, mental health and well-being. The stress of adjusting to new culture, academic demands, and social expectations, coupled with the challenge mentioned above, can take a huge toll on mental health and the well-being of international students. Access to appropriate mental health support and resources can be limited or unfamiliar for these students. Consequently, US institutions are at greater risk for losing international students because of these obstacles that refrain these students from success. I will briefly go through two well-established theoretical frameworks for conceptualizing and proposing holistic approach to nurturing undergraduate international student success in the US. The first one is Tinto's model of student integration, which stressed that individual and environmental differences and their interaction affect dropout intention and behaviors. Those individual and environment factors include student integration in academic and social domains and social networks. These factors together can impact on student persistence and success. This figure illustrates Tinto's theories. As an arrow pointed, there we go. Institution, career counselors, and educators can play a pivotal role in supporting undergraduate international students to achieve better academic and social integration. It will help to retain students and support them for their success. One other theory is Schlossberg transition theory, which provide a useful framework for understanding the experiences and challenges that international students face when studying in the US. The theory posits that individuals go through these stages during a transition, that is moving in, moving through, and moving out. Each stage has unique challenges and requires different types of support to facilitate a successful transition. Overall, this theory highlights the need for continuous targeted support for undergraduate international students throughout their time in the U.S. higher education system. By understanding the unique challenges these students face during each stage of their transition, institutions, career counselors, educators can develop and implement holistic strategies to help them achieve academic success, personal growth, and well-being. Okay, next is the crux of this presentation. This holistic strategy is based on theoretical frameworks to better support undergraduate international student success, excuse me. I want to show a summary of this holistic approach, and I will walk through these strategies on the following slides. This strategy is intended to address the 7 pressing needs of undergraduate international students. That is academic, career, mental health, cultural, social connections, finance, and immigration. To provide academic and career support, career counselors can collaborate with academic advisors to develop tailored support programs addressing international student-specific academic and career needs together. For example, regular communication. Counselors and centers can establish and maintain open lines of communication between career counselors and academic advisors to share insights and concerns about international student progress. Joint planning. Counselors and career counseling centers can organize meetings and workshops to jointly develop support programs that consider both academic and career goals, such as academic coaching, tutoring, and skill-building workshops. Integrated advising. Counselor and career centers can consider creating a centralized advising system that allows international students to access academic and career advising in a single location, facilitating a seamless and coordinated support experience. Another example would be the collaborative assessment. Counselors and career centers can consider working together to identify and assess the unique challenges faced by international students in their academic and career pursuits, using this information to develop a targeted intervention and support. And next, counselors and centers can provide workshops on job search strategies, resume and cover letter writing. I think virtually all counselors, career counselors, and career centers have done this. And they can also help international students prepare for interviews. But this workshop can be tailored for the needs of international students and help them to address those unique challenges that they have to navigate U.S. job market. Here are some specific examples. For example, the customized content. Counselors and career centers can develop workshop materials that specifically address the unique challenge faced by international students, such as understanding the U.S. job market, cultural differences in work settings, in professional communication, like email, text, work balance, and most importantly, visa-related employment restrictions and recommendations. Second, specialized seminars. Offering these seminars on topics that are particularly relevant to international students, such as networking in the US, navigating the searching process with those visa constraints in mind, and leveraging cultural diversity as a strength. Third, online resources. And we can create and curate online resources such as, seminars, webinars, tutorials, and guides specifically designed for this population to access at their own convenience. There can be like a database or a place where international students just can, have them handy. And then feedback and review sessions. Career counselors and centers can organize one-on-one or group sessions for international students to receive personalized feedback and guidance on their job search documents and interview skills. Oops, there's one more. So counselors can also connect international students with alumni or professionals in their field of interest, creating networking opportunity and potential mentorship opportunities. Alumni network events host events such as a panel discussion or career talks featuring successful international alumni who can share their experiences and insights with current students. This anecdotally, and also when I talk with other international students or graduates or in the job market or has succeed throughout the process, they are often very willing and happy to share if you reach out to them. And then mentorship programs. Counselors and career centers can establish mentorship programs that pair international students with alumni or professionals working in their desired industries, providing guidance, advice, and networking opportunities. Last but not least, career fairs. Counselors and career centers can organize career fairs that include targeted international friendly employers or invite companies that value and promote a diverse workforce, increasing the chances of securing internship or job opportunities. I know it's noon time, so this picture probably will make some of us pretty hangry. To nurture social and cultural integration, career counselors and centers can first help organize and participate in cross-cultural events, fostering connections between international and domestic students while promoting cultural understanding. For example, collaborate with student organizations. Career counselors and centers can work closely with international student organizations, multicultural centers, and other campus groups to plan and co-host cross-cultural events, such as cultural festival, food fairs, and so forth. And food is always a good start with all these kind of events. Second, integrate cross-cultural activities into career development. Career counselors and centers can organize career-focused events that emphasize the value of cultural diversity in the workplace, such as panel discussion featuring professionals from diverse backgrounds or networking events that encourage cross-cultural interactions. Another example would be facilitate conversation circles. Counselors and career centers can set up regular conversation circles or language exchange program, providing opportunities for international and domestic students to practice language skills and learn about each other's culture in informal settings. While international student wants to learn English and enhance their English proficiency, and we know that some domestic student also wants to learn other language. So this would be a win-win situation. And active participation. Career counselors and centers can participate in cross-cultural events, acting as role models for engagement and fostering connections between students by sharing their own experiences and insights. Of note, I believe our participation often suggests that we really care. So international students will know and appreciate it. Another large category is developing workshops and resources focused on building communication skills and cross-cultural competency, preparing international students for diverse workplace environment. One example would be tailored webinar and seminars. Counselors and centers can design webinars that students can join online anytime that they want, or in-person seminar that specifically address the unique communication challenge faced by these students, such as understanding cultural nuances, managing expectations, and navigating workplace dynamic in the US. Another example would be real-world scenarios. Incorporate role-play counselors and centers can consider incorporating role play exercise, case studies, and simulations in workshop to give students opportunity to practice their communication and cross-cultural skills in realistic workplace settings. With the recent advancement of AI technology like the virtual reality, I think centers and counselors can utilize this technology and help international student, or all the students come to us to have this immersed experience. Guest speakers, and we can invite professionals with diverse cultural backgrounds to share their experiences and insights on navigating cross-cultural communication and collaboration in their own industries. One last example would be having those online resources ready. And counselors and centers and programs can create and curate online resources, as I mentioned before, such as those recorded webinars, articles, and interactive modules that focus on building communication skills and cross-cultural competency for international students. Now let's move into the next one. To rally support and advocate for international students amid the vitriolic sociopolitical climate, career counselors and centers can first serve as advocates for international students by educating employers about the benefit of hiring international talent and addressing misconceptions surrounding visa regulation and work authorization. For example, employer outreach, I believe many programs and centers have done and have tried this, so they can engage with potential employers by organizing informational sessions, webinars, or workshops that highlights the benefit of hiring international talent, such as diverse perspective, global networks, language skills, and and other good characteristics. Second, clear and concise resources. Counselors and career centers can develop and distribute fact sheets or guides that provide clear and accurate information on visa regulations, work authorization, and the hiring process for international students, addressing common misconceptions and concerns. And third, partnership with companies. We can establish and maintain relationship with employers that value and promote DEI in their workforce, facilitating internships, co-op programs, and job opportunity for international students. So since we mentioned about internship and co-op support, counselors and career centers can work with employers to create internship and co-op opportunity that can accommodate international student visa regulation, allowing students to gain practical work experience while remaining compliant with immigration requirements. And one thing just pop up my head is that many students enroll in, let's say, counseling program or in other like non-STEM field, and they only have 12 months OPT, which they can work for 12 months after the graduation. With that being said, so for example, in the counseling field, if they want to get their license before returning to their home country, 1 year is not enough. So having the employer sponsorship or support for work authorization or get to know about the visa regulation would help students to achieve their goals, career goals, and personal goals in the United States. And one other important thing is to serve as social justice advocates for these students by promoting diversity, equity, inclusion, and non-discrimination to educate the public and inform legislation and laws to protect international students. And first, the campus-wide initiatives. And counselors and centers can collaborate with other departments and offices on campus to develop and implement diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives that benefit international students and the broader campus communities. And we can also organize like our participant in public awareness campaign and fostering empathy and understanding while combating the stereotypes and discrimination. And advocacy networks. So we can join and create networks for professionals, educators who work together to promote policy and legislations that provide support to international students at all levels. And lastly, the collaboration with immigration experts. Work closely with immigration attorneys, policy experts, and international student associates to stay informed about immigration issues. So I want to emphasize this a little bit. I think it is crucial to show for counseling, for career counselors, to show willingness to work with international students on issues that may be out of career counselors' knowledge or capability. However, it does not mean that career counselors cannot help and support students for these issues. Counselor can say that, for example, quote, "I don't know much about this, so can you tell me more? And I will see how we can work on this together," end quote. Career counselors are not trained to know everything. I know. Instead, they can help students to link those resources. With that being said, this may not be enough sometimes. Students, international students know that they can go to Office of International Students, and they also know that very limited support they can get from there. If career counselor and centers can collaborate with these offices, I believe additional support can be expected and tailored for students' career needs. Financial resources. To help with financial resources, counselors and centers can create a centralized online database of scholarship, grants, and financial aid opportunities specially designed for international students. This database can be regularly updated and shared with international students through weekly newsletters, social media, and other channels. Another thing is to collaborate with campus department to develop a comprehensive list of on-campus job opportunities that are suitable for international students. I mean, many institutions have a well-established, a job searching portal, but oftentimes, if there's a button or filter criteria saying like international student, that will really help. And by implementing these specific applications, career counselors, educators, and centers can provide valuable support to international students and pursue their financial resources, any on-campus job opportunities, or off-campus internship and other employment opportunity that comply with their visa regulation. Lastly, here are some ways that I believe career counselors, staff, counseling center, professionals, educators, anyone work in the higher education can approach mental health issues among international students. And first, be sensitive and able to recognize the signs of mental health challenges, such as changes in behavior, academic performance, social engagement. Career counselors receive counselor training to address not just career, but mental health needs. As career and mental health issues often intertwine, career counselors may use counseling skills to address emotional difficulties tied to career concerns. It is helpful to develop a referral process for career counselors to follow when they identify students who may be experiencing mental health challenges. Given that some student counseling centers may be understaffed, I believe it is important to include off-campus mental health resources. Many international students have very expensive but good health insurance. Career counselor may assist students in the process to figure out the coverage with the insurance payers, having a phone call together, and students often are not prepared for a conversation like this because of language barriers or those complex medical jargons. And we can also collaborate with mental health professionals to develop workshops, seminars, address the unique stressors and challenges faced by international students. One example would be, the seminar or workshop series partnership with the mental health professionals. And another example would be the host panel discussion featuring international alumni who have successfully navigated the challenge of studying and working in the US. As I said, those alumni are often very willing to come back or virtually to present and share their experience and tips for the undergraduate international students. And one last example would be, collaborate with those mental health professionals to develop an online resource hub for international students, like, videos, article, or self-help tools focus on stress management, self-care, mental health, and so forth. Now it comes to the end of this presentation. In conclusion, this presentation has highlighted the significance of developing and implementing holistic strategy to support the success of undergraduate international students in US higher education. Wow, I said these 3 words a lot. I almost can't pronounce it again. So 5 key takeaways emphasize the importance of this approach. First, the importance of addressing international students' unique needs through holistic strategies. These students face distinct challenges and require tailored support to ensure their success. By focusing on their academic, social, cultural, financial, and mental health needs, these holistic strategies can help the students thrive both in and out of the classroom. Second, the benefit of a holistic approach to student success. This comprehensive approach not only benefits students, international students, but also enhance the overall education experience for all students, domestic students included, fostering an inclusive campus environment where diverse perspectives and experience are valued can lead to increased collaboration, innovation, and understanding. Third, fostering a campus climate that values diversity and inclusion. Embracing diversity and promoting inclusion on campus can create a supportive environment for international students and benefit the entire campus communities. Fourth, investigating in ongoing professional development for faculty and staff. Providing training and professional development opportunity for faculty and staff can ensure they have the skill and knowledge to effectively support international students. This investment not only benefits the international student population, but also contribute to the overall quality of education and support services provided by the institution and centers. Lastly, the benefits for students, institution, and the society. Supporting the success of undergraduate international students has far-reaching benefits. For students, it leads to enhanced educational experience and personal growth. For institutions, it strengthens their reputation and global connections. For the society, it fosters the exchange of ideas, promotes cultural understanding, and contribute to a more interconnected world. But also, it helps us to retain undergraduate students, and we can facilitate the growth and nurturing their success. Ultimately, by adopting this holistic strategy that prioritizes the diverse need of this population, I believe higher education institution can create a more inclusive, supportive, and successful environment for all members of our campus community. Well, thank you everyone for watching and listening this presentation, and any questions and comments, and I'm more than willing to answer them.
Dr. Zhai, thank you so much for speaking to us. And we have a couple questions and things in the chat. We have about 9 minutes, so we don't have much time for questions. But one, the $1 million question, how do you get undergraduate international students to show up for workshops and events? Our students show up for social events put on by international groups and orgs, but they rarely show up for career-related events.
Yeah, I think this is this is a million dollar questions. And sometimes students are of, just, I think they're threatened to come to this kind of event because of certain barriers. And we can like I mentioned before, we can collaborate with other student organization, like, as a cultural event, and we can integrate the career piece into this. And I don't want to use market, but when we send out the message and students know that they're not only coming for this but that, and then I think it gives us opportunity to invite them to this event. And I understand the difficulty, like having international, especially undergraduate international students coming in. So that's why collaborating with those student organization is really important, because when I walk across the campus, sometimes after the class during the night, I see the student organization, they have a huge student like participation, like they often very engaged. So inviting or reaching out to those like organization would really help to have those students coming to the career fairs or career related workshop and seminars. So we can do some rebranding here.
Thank you for that. We have a hand up. Ashinafi. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Actually, I'm Ashanafi from Ethiopia.
Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Okay, but the concept of career service activity in our country is very infant. You are talking about the concept of career service for international students. But could you give us some suggestion? How can we implement this holistic approach in our country context?
Okay. Thank you for bringing this up. I think, as I went through this, I think the first thing is, as a professional or, in the leadership in the certain organizations, and we need to start to reach out to a certain organization and department, and we need to stay the communication line open. And sometimes they know we are, for example, and we have brilliant career centers and career counselors. And if there's more connections between the centers and other student organizations, student affairs or departments or programs, and it will really help the international student to navigate the process and with the career piece into it. Because I know, like, sometimes in a specific department, there is I think Dr. Prescott previously, established that and helping, student in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. So we go in there and reaching out to them there. And this is the first important step forward to having and fostering that connection. And then we can start talking about all the following steps. And if we can sit down and talk and just thinking about these ideas, I think this can be realized.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I think that's really important. That was also in the chat about going to the students. So not always expecting them to come to us, but actually going to them. And so I appreciate that comment about the program that, we had a few years ago. But I think another thing that came up, and I think this is also connected to your research, Yusen, which is very important. I was hoping you talk about that a little bit more because it has so many ties to career. One of the questions, does mental health awareness and willingness to address mental health issues vary based on cultural differences and or norms?
Yeah, I think this is the vital issues across different international student populations. And I believe the research suggests that yes, so it vary a lot. Well, at the same time, I think one advantage of the career counseling is that, with the career counseling as an umbrella, it kind of protects students from those thoughts associated with the, like stigma around mental health issues in certain cultures. And actually, I believe it's easier for career counselors to approach mental health issues with international students, especially those from, the cultural background. Talking about mental health is a taboo.
And I know we only have a couple minutes left, and I don't know, maybe we'll need a part 2 of this or something. You've done so much research during and after the pandemic that's been really tied to career development, specifically undergraduate students. Could you just talk a couple minutes about that research? And Emmy? I see your question. So if you could just quickly talk about that, and Emmy has a question.
Yeah, I think international students are susceptible to this, the social economic turmoil created by the pandemic, and that is a critical factor contributing to the student, especially undergraduate student success. As you know, like families and those students are considering, like, what would be the returns of coming to the US? And this is the determining factors. And that's why, some university experience some decline in undergraduate students, especially. So the important thing is how this university can, again, have those outreach programs to these populations. And career issues is vital. Like, I mean, one of the major goals, I think the most important goal is to come in here, get a good degree, get a good job, live a very good life, and maybe American life. Some people saying, American life. So it is important to help the student to navigate the process, get a good internship or get a good job, get a work visa. Then a lot of times, this can tie to the mental health issues, and we work on this together. And the more addressing mental health issues, I believe, is also addressing the career issues itself.
Thank you. Emmy, what's your question?
Hi, my name is Emmy Bagge. I'm the Associate Director for International Student Career Services at Emerson College, and my role is dedicated to international students. It's rare for me to find someone or meet people who are dedicated to international students. So my hope is that we can have a way to continue the conversation. So this might be kind of a segue to like wrapping up, but to find out ways to connect with each other so we can keep these, because there's a lot of topics here. There's engagement, employers, mental health, and with our roles, they touch all these areas, and we work and we collaborate with other offices that specialize in those areas. So what I'd like to do is I hope to connect with more career counselors or, folks in the career, just in the career realm who focus on international students. And if we could have a way to reach out to each other and find each other, that would be really helpful. So it's not really a question, it's just a hope that I wanted to close with.
I think that would be wonderful, just finding more ways to connect with each other. And, we have enough platforms where we should be able to do that and make that happen a little bit more often. So thank you for that comment. It is now 2:00. I appreciate you all being here. Dr. Zhai, thank you so much for the presentation. We still have some comments here and things that we'll go through. If we need to have a part 2 of this, we'll absolutely try to schedule that if you're up to it, of course. Dr. Zhai, I'm assuming that you are, but
Oh, it's my pleasure and my honor, and more than happy, talk more about it. And thank you for all being attentive to these issues and having the awareness. I think the first step is always building this awareness of student needs. So thank you all for coming, and I appreciate it a lot.
thank you all. Connect everywhere. Connect on LinkedIn. Find us. Let's connect. All right. Take care, everyone.